I'm honestly surprised you haven't edited these to make me just sound like a complete asshole.
Oh, hey, do you just don't watch them? Hey guys, welcome to The Real Deal. It's Seth.
And Logan. I almost said my name wrong. I almost said Chris. I forgot my name for a second.
Chris isn't here. Okay, so we are tired because we've been working and watching so many movies because we're doing TIFF at home. So we just watched Bergman Island, which is Mia Hansen Love, the French filmmaker's new film. It premiered at Cannes earlier this year. We saw it at TIFF, but it was not what I was expecting at all. So I knew that this is going to be like some slight homage to Ingmar Bergman. I thought it was going to be more of an homage, but like when you're watching it, it's really not that. It's more of like they use it as more of a setting. And I mean, they do name call a bunch of stuff. Like in every scene, they're not every scene, but a lot of times they'll like name drop every one of his movies. And a lot of times when they're doing that, it's where that movie took place, which is kind of fun if you're like a cinephile. But this movie is not what I was expecting at all, and it's a little puzzle box, a really beautiful puzzle box because it's so pretty to look at. I'm a sucker for like big, wide shots and like European landscapes and beaches and like silence into that. But this is like a very meta movie,
Oh, absolutely.
but on like multiple levels.
Well, and you called it a puzzle box, but you don't even know it is until it's over, and then you kind of step back and you're like, "Oh my god, I didn't even realize!" Like it, yeah. That and those are really cool. Those are fun.
Well, you realize it is, but you realize there's even more layers to it. And then when you think about it, there's even more layers to it.
It's like Inception, man.
Well, okay, so the film follows Vicky Krieps and Tim Roth. They're both filmmakers who are traveling to Bergman Island, which is where Ingmar Bergman lived for most of his life, and specifically Faro, and that's where they did a bunch of his films and stuff like that. And they both have a love for Bergman, but in different ways. He loves him more like as a whole than she does. She has issues with him as a person, like how he raised his family,
Right.
and she likes his movie. And the film has very, very dry humor, and she likes his movies, but then she also like hates that they can't always be happy and stuff like that. And like there's even a joke where like they would talk about how they want to watch a happy movie and they end up watching like his saddest fucking movie in the theater, which is kind of funny. But so anyways, they are basically there. He is a more successful director than she is, and he's screening his newest film and like doing the tour and like going on the Bergman safari and like all this stuff. And like really, while he's doing that, she breaks off and kind of does her own thing. And like, because she is having trouble writing her own script and she's kind of lost in it, and she's basically has some sort of writer's block. But I hate using writer's block because it's so cliche, and this movie is not like most movies that deal with writer's block.
Right.
Most of those can be pretty vapid, and this isn't. And so that's the basis of the story. And it's kind of funny because they stay in the house where they shot scenes from A Marriage, which weirdly enough is also coming out this week on HBO, the remake of that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's a Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaac one.
No, I mean, I didn't know it was coming out this weekend.
Yeah. And so that was also weird timing. But it's kind of funny because she doesn't even want to sleep in the same room as him because of that movie, because marriage falls apart. But it's interesting because we see that like Tim Roth and Vicky Krieps, who I don't know if they're explicitly married. I think that they are. I just didn't see rings. She calls him her partner. She also calls him her friend multiple times. So I don't know the exact answer to that. But they do have a child together. So they have a weird relationship because you can see they don't have a lot in common anymore. But it's not chastising in the way that a lot of dramatic films are, because a lot of films they would have this big fight and like all this stuff, but it's like it's pretty lived in and nuanced, and like you got to pay attention to see what's going on. But like she'll be putting out vibes or like saying things, and he's like doesn't pick up on it, doesn't respond. And for people who have a child together and have been together for a while, that's a good sign that things aren't super great. In addition to that, we see the film later that Vicky Krieps is working on through her eyes and her head, but it's actually the film going on. And she's basically working out the script with Tim Roth, who is oblivious to what she's saying, but it's a film about first love, and she's in a relationship that's falling apart, and it's literally like, hey motherfucker, this is about me, and this is about you, and has not paying attention to it at all, and which is kind of indicative of their entire relationship. But so that's cool. I'm trying not to spoil everything.
I know it's so hard. Well, that's just like, and I'll really glance over this, but there's at one point while she's telling him, he gets a phone call and steps off, and then there's a really cool scene where a lot goes on, and I don't know if you notice, when he comes back, she just kind of glazes over it.
Yeah.
And then they walk off, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Because she's literally working this out in her head, because she's contextualizing it with things that are happening in her life. I mean, write what you know. And so on top of that, they find a way, the ending is perfect. And like, they find a way to basically recontextualize everything, and like bits and pieces they used in her sequence where she's going through the script, where they use different actors, they bring certain elements of that to play into the actual story that's going on, the A plot, and they do it in such a cool way. And the ending isn't like beating you over the head, but like the whole point is she needs to find her ending, and they do that in a way that I don't know that everyone's gonna like, but it's perfect for the story that was being told and the type of story that it is. On another meta level, this is a director who has done like several movies, and she's an acclaimed French director who has an older partner who is an acclaimed director, who has higher status than her, who's done movies like Personal Shopper and Clouds of Sils Maria, Paris Thame, and like that's what got Kristen Stewart bigger, was Personal Shopper. And so it's basically her commenting on their relationship. They have a young child together. This is her kind of working out her interpersonal relationship with her partner, and I don't know, it's so like, there's so much going on.
Yeah, it's super meta.
But not in like a Deadpool way. The film's really languid, and it's beautiful, and it's weird because it's based on like Bergman Island, except for there were a couple like camera movements like that call to how he filmed things, but mostly like it's in a different aspect ratio. It's like it's way bigger, and you have a lot of like wide shots, which is not typically how he would frame things. And so I don't know, it was almost like they used him as a means to an end.
Yeah, he's like a vehicle more than like, here's an homage to this amazing director, and we'll stick a story around it.
Yeah, and it's almost more of an homage to her own life, and she's maybe finding out her own ending. Maybe she doesn't know what it is in real life, and like this is like, I don't know, therapeutic for her, which is interesting to me because like, I mean, as like if my partner was doing this movie and I sat and watched it, I'd be like, oh fuck.
I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, and we don't have that moment in the movie, which is nice because it just feels more real, and it like feels like a more adult film. Like when you progress in a relationship when you're older, and like there's these things that happen, and you start questioning things, and like you recount your past loves and all this stuff, and like what ifs, and this is a very adult version of that, and I really liked it. And I wasn't sold at first, because at first when it's just them doing like going on tours and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't care. Like I was like, this whole movie is going to be uninteresting. But when things start to unfold and it's not that movie, it's so good. So good.
I was afraid that not knowing a ton, obviously I love movies, but not necessarily knowing a ton about Bergman and all that kind of stuff, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to attach myself to this movie at all. Like, I'm afraid it's going to be so many homages, so much about him, and I'll just not care. And it kind of starts off like that a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
But it really quickly pulls away from that and is more about them and their, I don't say her personal growth throughout the, yeah. It definitely takes a shift where I was like, okay, I do like this movie.
Well, and it's kind of meta because she talks about how dark his films are and stuff, and like in his movies, Pharaoh is like a fucked up dark place, and in this movie, it's like vibrant and crisp, and like, and that's a testament to the cinematographer, like how beautiful like he made the vistas and stuff, and like all the wide shots, and I don't know, it just really worked.
It's not really a spoiler. She even comments on how crazy it is that his stuff was so dark when it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
She's like, it's so beautiful here. Why is he so dark and tormented and all this stuff? So yeah, I really like this movie,
and it snuck up on me too.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely,
because I sought out this movie because I thought it was going to be a Bergman homage, and then I kind of forgot about what we were watching, and then I didn't look up things beforehand, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't because I really, really enjoyed it. But this movie is, I think it's,
what?
I'm trying to remember who, I don't remember if it's Focus Features or if it's IFC.
I'm pretty sure it's Focus
I
Features.
don't know. I think it might be IFC. I don't know. It comes out later this year. I think it's late fall that it comes out. But definitely watch it. I think it's definitely worth the watch. I'd love to see it in theaters. I don't know if this is going to have that type of distribution that it would be in theaters. It doesn't feel like an Oscar movie. It's definitely indie spirit, but it is it's definitely worth the watch.
You gonna do a rating? I'm
yeah.
curious. Okay, what do you got?
I want you to guess. Because my rating kept going. It was just like
I'm gonna say you give it a 78.
That was what I was thinking a long time ago, but actually I'm gonna give it the dyslexic version of that.
87.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
But no, this movie really worked, and especially like sitting there thinking about it, when I'm piecing together other things like afterwards, I'm like, this movie is just what movies are supposed to do, at least for an artist, because like it is a thing of therapy to like write and stuff like that, and it's good. Just watch it. Watch the fucking movie.
Do it.
Bye.
Do it. Do it.
Just do it.